like last season, no one wanted the South. We'll see who takes it this go around. Carolina trying to get back into that conversation with a couple pieces on the offense after a resurgent moment late in this year for their young quarterback, some edges to shore up that defense as well. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers have presented us the most consistency in this division going on like a half decade now. And
the NFC South is an absolute disaster. Every year, one division has to take the crown as the NFL's weakest, and in 2025, it looks like the South is wearing it proudly. And yes, Tampa Bay may have 4 straight division titles, but their records 8-9, 9-8, 10-7 all scream mediocrity and not dominance. The rest of the teams in this division, quarterback controversies, injury questions, and teams still rebuilding years into their so-called rebuilds. So in today's video, we're going to take a look closer at this mess of a division and see if anyone in the NFC South can actually rise above all this chaos. Now, the obvious place to start with this division was with the reigning champs in the Tampa Bay Bucks. Baker Mayfield was a man possessed in 2024, delivering 4,500 yards and 41 touchdowns, which is pretty crazy to think about when you consider many people thought his career was just over 2 years earlier.
I mean, Baker, he does everything, you know, he wakes up, like he say, feeling dangerous.
Dangerous? Absolutely.
Mayfield looks left all the way, single coverage, one-on-one. Oh, what a catch!
Now, though, he remains locked and loaded as the Buccaneers quarterback one, ready to lead the team to what should be a 5th straight division title. Unfortunately now, though, truthfully, things are looking a little bit more complicated as we get closer to the season. You see, when the Tampa Bay Buccaneers selected Emeka Egbuka in the first round of the 2025 draft, people questioned the logic considering the Buccaneers' loaded wide receiver room already featured Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, and Jalen McMillan, not to mention Tez Johnson as another rookie joining the room. However, as things stand just a week before the season does start, Godwin's recovery appears to be more complicated than initially expected, and McMillan has now picked up an injury that will keep him sidelined until at least week 9. So now all of a sudden, Emeka Egbuka is kind of thrust into the lineup, which definitely I have to admit is certainly not a bad thing considering how good he was in college. Like, I mean, this guy is about as bulletproof as you can ask for as a draft prospect. He just does everything so well, and I reckon he's going to rack up some yards with Mayfield early in the season. But the other main injury that we have to discuss is that these guys have one at the left tackle position in Tristan Wirfs, who's arguably the most important player on the roster behind Mayfield. Wirfs underwent knee surgery back in July, and while he shouldn't miss too much of the season, it's far from ideal to have your star left tackle missing for even just a few weeks. And now look, Baker Mayfield and the Buccaneers offense are already having to adjust to having a new offensive coordinator for the 3rd time in as many seasons, and these injuries will not make the adjustment period any easier. That being said though, provided that Tampa Bay can avoid too many early upsets, they should still be in a great position to go out and win this division. There's been very few notable departures, with very good Buccaneers front office managing to keep hold of their most important free agents. Hassan Reddick does come in on the defensive side of the ball, though, to try and give the team a boost from a pass rushing perspective, which is one of the few areas of weakness for this team. The other significant area of weakness for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in 2024 was their pass defense, with them ranking 29th in the NFL. So I think therefore, truthfully, it should come as no surprise that the front office decided to invest heavily in the secondary, bringing in cornerbacks Benjamin Morris and Jacob Parrish in rounds 2 and 3. Morrison in particular is an exciting pick for Bucs fans, as his upside should have made him a top 15 pick in the 2025 draft, only for injury to send him down into the 2nd round, which truthfully the upside on this guy is just sky high. Overall though, the Bucs kept things pretty simple over this offseason, mostly making sure that they brought back the most important free agents before utilizing the draft to plug up some gaps on the defensive side of the ball before bringing in Emeka Egbuka, which is a supremely talented wide receiver. I definitely do have these guys winning the division, but when you consider the changes in the offensive coordinator room and likely maybe even a regression from Mayfield from a touchdown perspective, it's hard to see how this team really improves. Therefore, I'm just going to give them another 10-7 record. Okay, now I know we all have this one friend that, remember last year, the one friend that hit a 5-leg parlay in week 1 and basically wouldn't shut up about it all season long last year? Well, yeah, this year it's going to be you. We're going to make sure that happens. And the way we're going to do that is with MyBookie. MyBookie makes it stupid easy to get in on the action. College football, NFL, super contest, and even survivor pools. They have all the spreads, player props, and in-game lines you could want all under one roof. And now look, of course I have to get in on the action, so guess what I'm going with? Thursday night, we're taking the Eagles, ladies and gentlemen. They're going to cover 9. We're going to do it right here. We're taking them -9. I'm going to head over to my bet slip, accept all odd changes, and guess what? I'm feeling pretty confident in this right now. We're cashing out, baby. $100 to win 90. Continue betting. We are riding with the Eagles. If you tail me, let me know. I'm feeling like they can cover the -9. It's opening game, Super Bowl ceremony. Cowboys are going through a lot of stuff right now, losing Micah Parsons. I think the Eagles are going to get it done. So I'm going to put my money where my mouth is, and I'm taking the Eagles. Let me know if you're going to tail that pick, or tell me if I did a completely dumb thing by betting them -9 and you think the Cowboys are somehow going to cover week 1. I don't see that happening. Jalen Hurts and the boys are going to get it done in their Super Bowl ceremony. And the best part is if you're new to MyBookie, use our code and any bet you choose up to $500 is fully covered. Like truthfully, make your play, and if it doesn't hit, you get it right back when you opt in using your bet back bonus token. There truly is no better time to jump in and no better place to play at. Football's back, so let's make some money with MyBookie. And again, thank you to MyBookie for sponsoring today's video, and let's get back into it. But now this next team though might surprise you because I'm going to go with the Carolina Panthers. I honestly think that there are few teams in the NFL that have done as much to improve as this team has over the last 2 seasons. Dave Canellis is a proven quality offensive coach, and the team went to great lengths last season to improve the offensive line. And now, yes, I know that this kind of didn't immediately turn into just kind of the quality of production that they did want to see, but I really do think that if this team can start to mesh and really from an offensive side of the ball point of view, just kind of really start to kind of click, I think that they can start to turn some heads in the NFC South and maybe even make a move in the entire NFL. But of course, that has to come from the quarterback position and has to be starting off and led off with Bryce Young and him continuing from where he left off last year, wrapping up the 2024 season. This is primarily going to fall on the shoulders, I think, of T-Mac too, who was the perfect selection for this team to fill the X receiver role in the 2025 NFL draft. This offense was missing a big body receiver on the outside who could be trusted in the red zone and on third downs. T-Mac, I think, is a star in the making and not only will help Bryce Young take those next steps forward, but he's also going to take the pressure off the other wide receivers on this offense. Also now, this offense has essentially a different running back for every down if they want to, with Chuba Hubbard being joined by another very reliable all-around back in Rico Dowd and an exciting rookie in Trevor Etienne. Fundamentally though, all this year is about making sure that Bryce Young takes the next step forward, as I said earlier, to a point where the Carolina Panthers know for sure that he is their next guy moving forward. Defensively too, these guys were a mess last year, but you've got to remember that they lost their star defensive tackle in Derrick Brown pretty much straight away. Like from that point onwards too, they were essentially run through with ease, but the arrivals of Bobby Brown and Tershawn Wharton should give them a tougher interior, which will go a long way into keeping them in games closer. But again, just like Tampa Bay, Carolina recognized that they had an area of weakness and doubled down to fix that in the draft. They selected Nick Scorton in round 2 and Princely Umanani in round 3, giving this unit a much needed boost at the edge rusher position. And now look, I'm gonna be pretty frank right now. Things last year for this Panthers team weren't that great. But this year and kind of beyond now, if they continue to take the right steps forward, the future could be right for the Carolina Panthers. Chuba Hubbard has already proven himself to be a quality running back, and while T-Mac is expected to have a breakout season as the top tier X receiver, Bryce Young should have everything he needs to deliver a breakout performance of his own. Ultimately, that's all that matters for the Carolina Panthers in 2025, and I think it's going to equate to a few more wins for this team. I truthfully think that they could even get to 8 wins, but let me know in the comment section if you think that's a little generous, but I truthfully think that they can get to that 8-9, maybe even 9-8 record. Now, the other team that I have posting possibly 8 or 9 wins in this division also in 2025 is the Atlanta Falcons. These guys have been the perfect embodiment of average football, having posted 7 wins in 5 of their last 7 seasons. To be fair though to them, an 8-win record in 2024 technically counts as improvement, but the way they got there was just extremely bizarre. The Kirk Cousins downfall was messy, and for the 100th year running, there was no sign of a pass rush. Nevertheless, though, fans somehow left the season feeling optimistic because, well, Michael Penix Jr. was their quarterback. The former Washington Husky quarterback came in to start the final 3 games of the season, showing gradual improvement throughout each one. And yes, while he did fail to complete over 60% of his passes in each of his last 2 games, he did tally up 535 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions, showing off more than enough talent to get the fans excited. The biggest beneficiary of his arrival into the starting lineup, though, was Drake London, who topped 100 yards in each of those last 2 games of the season, including a 187-yard, 2-touchdown outing in Week 18, in which he was targeted a whopping 18 times. With Darnell Mooney operating as a rock-solid option too, Bijan Robinson and Tyler Algier standing out as probably the best 1-2 punch in the NFL, Penix has plenty of talented playmakers to utilize. The question is though, can he actually deliver a high enough level of play to maximize all of their skill sets? I mean, the front office does certainly think so because they gave up a future first rounder to secure a second edge rusher in this year's draft, where Jalen Walker was the team's first selection at 15th overall, closely followed by James Pierce Jr. at pick 26, who was the focus of Atlanta's trade back into the first round. And now look, if both players hit, then this move would be a stroke of genius by the Falcons GM, but to give up a future first rounder when you don't really even know if you're going to have your quarterback yet for the future is just classified as a truly big risk. Like, truthfully, it's as if the front office already decided that Penix is going to be that guy when, truthfully, in reality, he has only played 3 games in the NFL, and yes, he showed plenty of upside, but an average completion rate of 58% shows there's plenty of downside as well. The Falcons undoubtedly are going to have to rely heavily on Penix to take a significant leap early in his sophomore season, and on defense, there's also a lot of pressure on their 2 rookie defensive ends to get them up to speed quickly. When you add in the departure of a veteran center in Drew Dahlman and the recent injury to right tackle Caleb McGarry, I just think there are enough red flags here to suggest that this season may not quite go as planned for the Falcons. Therefore, I think they're just going to join Carolina as another 8, maybe 9-win team from this division. And now, yes, my final team in the NFC South should come as no surprise. I'm a Saints fan, but yep, they're going to finish in last place undoubtedly. Unfortunately, it is quite easy to understand why pretty much everyone will have the Saints predicted to come last in this division. Like, they don't have a quarterback, and nothing that I've seen from Spencer Rattler or even Tyler Shuck in the preseason has convinced me that either of them can be a reliable option for this team in 2025. And I mean, truthfully, to be honest, it's a massive shame too, because there are some actually really exciting offensive pieces on this roster. Chris Olave and Rashid Shaheed are an incredibly dangerous duo when they can get open with ease at all levels. And then you have Alvin Kamara, who has been the embodiment of reliability and quality for the entirety of his career and is still one of the most dangerous receiving backs in the entire NFL. Kelvin Banks Jr. was a sensible selection in the first round of the 2025 NFL Draft, hopefully contributing to a much improved offensive line who may as well be blocking for Arch Manning this time next year, hopefully. Defensively though, losing Tyrann Mathieu is definitely not ideal, but the arrival of Justin Reed to replace him certainly goes down as a good signing. Isaac Yadam and Julian Blackmon are handy additions to the secondary too, considering the departure of Paulison Adobo and Jonathan Bouillard to add some power to the interior defensive line. All in all though, it's just not exactly a really sexy free agent haul, but that's what happens when you let your salary cap situation become the mess it has for the Saints. And truthfully, it's very hard to see how the New Orleans Saints walk away from the 2025 season with many wins, or hell, honestly, with any wins at all, and truthfully going to be the first overall pick of the 2026 NFL Draft. Like, it may not be pretty, but it might be the reset that the New Orleans Saints need to finally kickstart the next era of winning football for this franchise. But overall, that is the NFC South. It's a division that's defined by mediocrity, false hope, and more question marks than answers. Tampa Bay might limp to another crown, but beyond that, chaos. And that's why in 2025, the NFC South is still an absolute disaster.